trying to bring us some little glitches there. Liberation greetings to all and sundry, my people of the southern Cameroon, my dear brave warriors of our liberation movement of Ambazonia. Accept greetings from me, Comrade John Akuro, this Friday. And this Friday is January 26, 2024. Folks, I'm here today for us to have another very interesting conversation. And we are going to delve a lot around this incident on TV Sync, but now the perspective is different from, the discussion we had in our last episode. On today's episode, we shall be looking at exactly why the citizens of La République du Cameroon feel so rattled, why the citizens of La République du Cameroon are right up until this moment in total disbelief that this could have been a mistake, why the citizens of La République du Cameroon are demanding that TV5 be put off the air on the territorial space of La République du Cameroon, and also expressing disgust at what they consider to be some hidden hand. You know, folks, while some of ours came up on my last conversation and said I was trying to make a mountain out of an anthill, you can see very clearly that the people of Amazonia are not even the ones making a mountain out of an anthill, because this is definitely not an anthill. And the people of La République du Cameroon know this so well. That is why it is important that we follow every step of the way or what they are saying. And this should inform us about certain things we might have been oblivious about. So this package is carefully prepared for us to digest this incident and continue to fine-tune our strategy to kick La République du Cameroon out of our territory. My dear people of Amazonia, before I delve into this conversation, I'd like us to share this thought by, and this thought is absolutely, I'm not author of this thought. This thought is shared by Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey is a television star in the United States of America. He says, if you don't separate yourself from distractions, your distractions will separate you from your goals. Something we need to digest. This is absolutely important for us to digest. We have spent time in our liberation movement on distractions, fighting each other, trying to attack each other, getting into some kind of rivalry with each other, getting into some kind of stupid fighting around group obedience. This one is my leader, that one is not my leader, this group is for La République, that one is not for La République. We have to listen to Steve Harvey and separate ourselves from distractions so that these distractions should not take us away, should not separate us from our goal. Our ultimate goal is ensuring that we achieve independence, we achieve total freedom for the people of Amazonia. Folks, before I get into the nitty-gritties of our conversation, I want to make a quick stopover in Ginicom. Ginicom is in Boyo County, and you see, at the approach of the 11th of February, what the day La République du Cameroon considers, or they call it Youth Day, but for La République du Cameroon, that's the day they know that they started our annexation. And so, usually on that day, they want our people to come out and celebrate our enslavement, celebrate our recolonization, celebrate our dehumanization. That we should come out and celebrate them as they are decimating our people on our land. And of course, we have some among us who often joyfully go out on that day. But this is also a day that the colonial administrators do exactly what the Western European colonial powers often did on the territories where they were colonizing the people. And so, what do they do on occasions like this? They get into full blown racketeering. This is why I have this message here. And this message is sent to me by a Southern Cameroonian from Ginicom. And you look at this, this is a message from the office of the Colonial Divisional Officer in Ginicom. He says, "Good morning to all. Reminder, in the Youth Day planning meeting of January 23rd, 2024, presided over by the Divisional Officer for Ginicom at the Ginicom Community Hall, it was decided that 1. All state personnel shall be present at the ceremonial ground on 11th of February 2024. Folks, listen. You love your life. You love our freedom. You believe in your dignity. You recognize that the right to protest is a fundamentally recognized international human right. You should not find yourself obeying useless instructions and guidelines like this ones. I'm saying this because across the Southern Cameroon's territory, across the entire Ambazonia, these lunatic colonial administrators are going to be sending out this kind of messages. They will even threaten you with having to cut your salary. They will even threaten you with having to seal your shops. They will even threaten you with imprisonment, with having to brand you a Southern Cameroonian or Ambazonian. I've said here all the time, anytime you make yourself banana, monkeys will eat you. I say anytime you make yourself banana, monkeys will eat you. If you cause them to learn to respect you, they will not continue to threaten you. But if anytime they open their filthy mouths and say this kind of trash, you find yourself running to those places, trust me, you encourage them to continue in that light. Let's continue with that message. It says again, principals of government secondary schools, that's GSS, shall each contribute 5,000 francs. So it's not even limited just at being present. You have to contribute money. Money for what? To give to the colonial administrator. Listen well, every principal of a government secondary school, you have to contribute 5,000 francs. Principals, that's chief of service. If you're a chief of service, that's you're a principal of high schools, and assimilated as anyone who is chief of service, because the same principals of high schools have rank of chief of service, as it's putting here. They will each contribute 10,000 francs. Calculate the number of high schools in Ginicom, the number of secondary schools in Ginicom. For secondary schools, multiplied by 5,000. For high schools, multiply the number of high schools by 10,000. And then all the chiefs of service who are in this, local government area, and all those who have a rank of chief of service, that's sub-divisional delegates and all of those, 10,000. And then he says, all high school teachers. It doesn't just end there at the principals, because you say the principals and the chiefs of service are vote holders. No, it comes down to teachers. Teachers are not vote holders. Teachers are even struggling, mangling to manage the little pay that they have to run their families. A colonial administrator who is having a huge budget, having all the advantages you can imagine on earth, is asking them to each contribute 2,000 francs. So imagine how many teachers, that's how many high school teachers, this is for high school teachers. Imagine how many high school teachers are in Ginicom. Multiply each of these teachers by the sum of 2,000 francs and begin to have an idea of exactly how much this colonial administrator is trying to racketeer from our people, all in the name of a colonial celebration marking our slavery, the day they believe that our annexation started. He says all teachers. So which means that now if you're not a high school teacher, that's secondary school, primary, that's basic, nursery, everything, both for mission schools and government schools, 1,000 francs each. Count the number of secondary schools. That's the number of secondary school teachers, the number of primary school teachers, the number of nursery school teachers in the entire local government area, Njinicom. Multiply it by this 1,000 francs that this lunatic is asking for. Let it begin to give you the amount of money this man wants to cut from our people to go and build himself mansions in La République du Cameroon, because of course he's a citizen of La République du Cameroon. And then he says, concerning basic education, all teachers shall pay their contributions to head teachers. All teachers shall pay their contributions to head teachers. That is, he was talking about head teachers. I beg your pardon. So the 2,000 for head teachers, not high school teachers, and all teachers, high school, secondary school, primary school, whatever, 1,000. So he says, basic education teachers shall pay their contributions to their head teachers. So which means the head teacher, that's the headmaster or headmistress, is charged with, they'll count the number of teachers in the school, and the colonial administrator will be expecting that head teacher to present an envelope corresponding to that amount of money. And they'll say, if you don't give that money, your name will be forwarded and sanctions will follow. Where is this prescribed? I like us to say this, because tomorrow, when Ambazonians, Southern Cameroonians tell the people, you need to contribute some little money to support your self-defense volunteers who are in the various communities fighting to free our land, you will say they are extorting from you. But when the colonial administrators come like this and do this open ransom taking, you are going to contribute joyously. Let me say this. When you make yourself banana, monkeys will eat you. I say this and I repeat it. So he says, concerning basic education, all teachers shall pay their contributions to head teachers, who shall, together with their own contributions, forward to Mr. Chia Johnson. To Mr. Chia Johnson, who is the head teacher, that's the headmaster of GS Wombong. That's GS Wombong. Of course, you can see it here. I'm not fabricating it. This was sent to me from Njinicom by one of the people concerned, embarrassed that they are constantly under this kind of racketeering. I will not be surprised if some of this money is collected and a good chunk even dispatched both to Lele Lafrique de Ben Chofo, to the colonial SDO in Fundong, and some even right to Atangana Ponji, alias is it Molinex, or the voices in the bushes, or burying the bereaved. It continues. So it says, it says, note, I took the second page because I want us to see the last thing. It says, note, all state personnel, government workers shall answer present on 11 February 2024. I'm using this opportunity to reiterate, don't risk your life, because I've already seen messages coming out, and messages are going to come out from our various movements, groups and organizations to say that during this period there will be no circulation, no movement of cars, bikes or humans. And if you find yourself out, unfortunately, you are likely going to fall into either the hands of the terrorists of La République du Cameroon or our self-defense volunteers who will be out there trying to face the talks from La République du Cameroon. I've said here 1,001 times, my concern has always been ensuring the safety of the civilian population. And so you see the Lord say, you guys should read the above well, because all teachers are to be present that week of youth day. If not, you will have yourselves to blame. A kind of situation where it is threat. This doesn't happen. And why are they threatening our people? Because they know that fundamentally 98.5% at least of our people don't want to get involved with anything that concerns La République du Cameroon. The only way they get their allegiance out there is threaten, intimidate, exploit, that's extort from them first. You see, they begin first by extorting from them. Then they intimidate, they humiliate, then they subject you to dehumanizing treatment because they want you to be there. You recall the situation of one Mr. Lukom in Jakiri. The colonial administration in Jakiri never even talks about him again. They have never observed even a minute of silence any day for Lukom, who thought it was bravado. He put himself in harm's way. He paid the ultimate price. His family is suffering today. Don't find yourself in this kind of situations. Listen carefully, follow the guidelines that will be given out there, and make sure you stay at home on those days. I'm talking from the perspective of the civil society, and I know that deciding to stay home in protest is a fundamental human right, internationally recognized. Put that in your brains. Now, I'll leave from there one last stopover before we get into the real subject matter of this conversation. And if you're just joining, please share the link. Share the link widely. Let us get as many people as possible to be part of this very important conversation, because, folks, I've said it before, that we are getting ever closer. The signs of the times don't make any mistake. They are very clear. And so, yesterday, in the evening, I got word that the Fon of Bafut, Fona Bumbi II, was summoned to the Gendarmerie Legion at Upstation in Bamenda since the day before yesterday. That's the 24th of January. That 24th was Wednesday. Until I got into the studio, I've tried to make a lot of calls back in Bafut, in Bamenda, to know whether he is reported back at his palace. No one was on hand to give me confirmation that the Fon of Bafut, the paramount Fon of Bafut, the first-class Fon of Bafut, was back in his palace. Folks, if you don't know him, this is the Fon of Bafut on my screen. The very gregarious, focused, and committed Fon of Bafut, who stays, works closely, and pays attention to the needs of his people, keeping himself above the frays that are going on. This Fon, on several occasions, the Turks of La République du Cameroun have tried to intimidate him to come out and talk against the wishes and aspirations of his people. Fona Bumbi has generally made clear he has no opinion. This has nothing to say about this. He is Fon. He is a traditional ruler picked by the people of Bafut to rule over them, to sit in judgment occasionally over them. And that is the job he has been doing. He refused to be involved either with the self-defense volunteers or the pro-independence movement, or with the government of La République du Cameroun. Because he always said he is the father of every single Bafut indigene. Therefore, he will not want to get into the middle of a fray. And so he stayed true to himself as a traditional ruler in his palace. The palace of the Fon of Bafut had been raided on several occasions because the Turks from La République du Cameroun kept building on suspicions that the Fon was harboring self-defense volunteers at his palace or was in complicity with self-defense volunteers. But each time they raided that palace, they found nothing to suggest any collision between the Fon of Bafut and the self-defense volunteers. But I have it on good authority from sources I generally trust in Yaoundé that the colonial mayor of Bafut, a young man by name Ngwa Congo, who parades himself as the mayor of Bafut, that he traveled to Yaoundé and made some denunciations at the SED, the Secrétariat d'État de la Défense, that's Gendarmerie, in Yaoundé. After having a sustained conversation with Atanga Ponji, and a conspiracy was cooked up for him to denounce the fund of Bafut as being an accomplice of the self-defense volunteers. He's being summoned to the Gendarmerie Legion in Bamenda. Seems, from my sources, to have been all cooked from Yaoundé. And the principal person witnessing against the fund of Bafut is a fellow CPDM militant like him. Don't forget that the fund of Bafut is a member of the CPDM Central Committee. So the colonial mayor of Bafut, I beg your pardon, are coined colonial because we had no elections on our land. He doesn't speak for the people of Bafut. He doesn't represent the people of Bafut. He was appointed by Yaoundé to do just this kind of dirty jobs that he is doing. So Ngwa Congo is responsible 100%. He and a little group of cronies calling themselves CPDM militants from Bafut cooked up this whole story because they want to coerce Fonabumbi to get into certain things he is not interested in. And so I'm letting the people of Bafut know where to ask questions. Ask Ngwa Nkongo. He will tell you exactly what is happening to the fund of Bafut. And I want to draw the attention of La République du Cameroun to the effect that stretching this joke too far would definitely not be in their interest. They may be underestimating the ability of the people of Bafut, of the Ngemba people of Mezam, to stand by their traditional authorities that are always working in their interest, that stays glued to the tradition and nothing short of the tradition. Not like some of the lost souls, like the one of Nkwen and others who have defied tradition and are rubbing our tradition in the mud in the name of standing with a genocidal system. Our true funds decided not to be involved in this matter in any shape or form. So if the fund of Bafut has been at the Gendarmerie Legion in Bamenda since Wednesday, January 24, and is not back in his palace right up to this moment that I'm talking here, Friday, January 26, where has he been sleeping? On what has he been sleeping? Because the information I get from Yaoundé is that Ngwa Congo, Atanga Ponji, and the little CPDM clique, the so-called CPDM clique from Bafut, concocted that the fund of Bafut should be injected some poisonous substance while he is at the Gendarmerie Legion in Bamenda, so that when they will eventually set him free, he won't be able to live long. And at that time, it will seem as if he died of natural circumstances. So at this moment that I'm talking, I can't even ascertain if that has not been done yet. If the fund of Bafut is truly still in the hands of La République du Cameroun at the Gendarmerie Legion in Bamenda. Like I said earlier, despite this insider information, I haven't been able to confirm, as at the time I got into the studio, if the fund of Bafut was not back at his palace. This is something we should pay careful attention to. Folks, this is something we should pay careful attention to. We don't have to give La République du Cameroun the opportunity to think that they can continually take us for a ride. That said, I'd like us to move into the real issue of the day. TV5 Monde Afrique on January 23, Tuesday, January 23, 2024, broadcast the flag of the Federal Republic of Amazonia in lieu and place of the flag of La République du Cameroun against the name Cameroon, when La République du Cameroun was playing its last group stage match at the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations against the Gambia. That has created total confusion in Yaoundé. That is even threatening relations between Paris and Yaoundé. That has caused citizens of La République du Cameroun to come out of their shelves and do and say things that some of our people never imagined they could say. No matter how much Mbarakuru said on this platform that the citizens of La République du Cameroun were not innocent in what is ongoing in our land, on the genocidal campaign that the Biya government is carrying out on our land, some people decided to live in doubt. But what has happened? This incident, this hand of God on TV5 Afrique in prime time has brought out the real who the citizens of La République du Cameroun are and truly what they've always thought about us. Of course, TV5 Afrique has presented its apologies to its audience, not to La République du Cameroun, and of course, simply indicated to the countries concerned. Because take note, this incident did not concern only La République du Cameroun. It concerned Guinea as well, because against the flag of Guinea, against the name of the country Guinea, was placed the flag of another country. We have not heard Guineans making all the noise that La République du Cameroun is making. La République du Cameroun's consternation, and you will hear their citizens say that they would have preferred it to be the flag of another country that was placed there, that they will call it a mistake. But for it to be the flag of the former UN Trust territory of British Southern Cameroons, aka Amazonia, that is a colony they had colonized, subdued, swallowed, and now this is coming to bring the matter back to the fore. That is why they are ready to die. Let's listen to the word of apology from TV5 Afrique.
Le football, la CAN, la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations, avant d'évoquer les matchs du jour, un mot d'excuse à propos de deux erreurs qui se sont glissées dans les panneaux diffusés précédemment concernant les drapeaux du Cameroun et de la République de Guinée, des erreurs corrigées depuis. Nous présentons nos excuses à tous nos téléspectateurs. Le programme du jour, on y vient, le groupe E et F, les groupes E et F.
So did you hear that? Simple mistake. As far as they are concerned, it was a simple mistake. Of course, as far as I'm concerned, I see the hand of God. But of course, for the citizens of La République du Cameroun, they too see that hand of God. They understand the message. They understand what has just happened. That is why they need a scapegoat. I want to roundly congratulate Comrade Cho Ayaba, the president of AGOFC, one of the movements in our liberation movement, for taking the initiative to sue TV5 Afrique for the profanation of the flag of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. No, I didn't even see it from that perspective too. Because by taking the flag of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia and placing it side by side Cameroon, that was an insult. Because you are associating us to a genocidal regime, to a genocidal country. While we revel in the spiritual dimension, in the real realm of life, in the physical world, TV5 Afrique needs some explaining to do. Oh yeah, that's a good initiative and I love it. So, let's get into the beef of the situation again. Folks, for 60 years and counting, we have lived under total subjugation under La République du Cameroun. We went into a union with them in 1961, and the text and history are clear that we went into a union of two states equal in status. Two states equal in status. It's written in black and white. I'm not forming it. And that is why on the 1st of October 1961, a country known as La République du Cameroun that became independent on the 1st of January 1960 ceased to exist. And a new country known as the Southern Cameroons that was achieving, that got its independent vote on April 21, 1961, and was poised to assert its independence on October 1, also ceased to exist as the Southern Cameroons, because a new nation was being created here, with two separate entities coming together into a union of two separate states equal in status. That is why La République du Cameroun ceased to exist, the Southern Cameroon ceased to exist, and a new country emerged known as the Federal Republic of Cameroon. The Federal Republic of Cameroon is in history. I'm not creating it. And then the country that existed as La République du Cameroun became known as the Federated State of East Cameroon. The Federated State of East Cameroon with a prime minister. The Southern Cameroons became known as the Federated State of West Cameroon with its prime minister. And then there was a federal government in Yaoundé. This country existed like this, the Federal Republic of Cameroon, right up to 1972. So from 1961 to 1972, 11 whole years, there was a country in history known as the Federal Republic of Cameroon. Upon discovery of oil deposits on the territory of the Southern Cameroons, La République du Cameroun, at the behest of France, claimed that having two federated states was becoming too expensive and bogus for the resources of the country to sustain. For that reason, they wanted to end the federal experience and create a kind of unitary state where the same entities will remain what they are under a country now changing its name from the Federal Republic of Cameroon to the United Republic of Cameroon. Right up to this point, you recognize when they say the United Republic of Cameroon, La République du Cameroun is not existing, Southern Cameroon is not existing by 1972. And so they say, okay, now it's United Republic of Cameroon. United because means two entities are involved. Two or more entities are involved, but in this case, two. Then somewhere in 1984, by presidential decree, that is 12 years after, by presidential decree, Paul Biya unilaterally changed the name of the country from the United Republic of Cameroon to the Republic of Cameroon. Now, this is not a coincidence. The Republic of Cameroon died on October 1, 1961. Now the Republic of Cameroon resurrected. Hey, in 1984, what happened to the Southern Cameroons? So if the Republic of Cameroon could decide to reassert its independence, that means the Southern Cameroon should reassert its independence, because La République du Cameroun has withdrawn from the Union to go back to its former self as existed on January 1, 1960, when it became independent. Now, what was the reaction of the people of the Southern Cameroons? Of course, we know a few people got angry, took actions. The venerated Fongoji Dinka in the early 90s, 1992, actually even went to court and obtained a court ruling at the Maison High Court in Bamenda to restore the independence of the Southern Cameroons, because the court required Mr. Paul Biya to show up and explain why they were seceding from the Union, and they did not show up. And the court granted that the Southern Cameroon should reassert its independence and authorize Fongoji Dinka to rename the Southern Cameroons Ambazonia. That's how Ambazonia came about, if some of us don't know. Now look at this. For disappearing us, Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, from 1984 right up to this year, 2024, how many years? How many years? 38 handsome years. I mean, 38 years. We swallowed it. When we got up to complain, citizens of La République du Cameroun told us, le Cameroun a fait son histoire. Now look at this. Just a few hours, that La République du Cameroun found itself represented by the Southern Cameroons, at least at the level of the emblem, the flag. See what is happening. Hell has broken loose. This should be a message to Ambazonians, a message to Southern Cameroonians, that you have been fools for 60 years. Fools. This is a message to us. We have been fools for 60 years. I want to stop somewhere again and explain something. Because our people too often get these things, it gets in here and comes out this way. Take note that in 1995, like I said, share this video, share the link. Let our people get edified. Know the truth about where you come from, about who you are, and what you have faced right up to this date. That should ring a bell in your head and let you understand why you have to contribute. When we say contribute, so we free ourselves. You can see the level of disdain. You can see the level of provocation. You can see how they are berating us. You can see how they consider this an affront. So turn it a bit. Imagine that it is the Southern Cameroons that had the influence and changed the name from the United Republic of Cameroon to the Southern Cameroons. You now know that the citizens of La République du Cameroun would have started fighting from that 1984 until today, or until they broke loose. This is the message. This tells you they would never have stomached it for one day. But don't forget that in 1995, at the dawn of the return, or when the wind of change blew from Eastern Europe and passed through Africa and marked the return to multi-party democracy in Cameroon, questions came up. I will never forget the late Honorable Ihims Jacob Anye, because as a student at the Advanced School of Mass Communication and as president of the GHS Mbengui Ex-Students Association University, that is in Yaoundé, I was close to him because he was a former principal of that school. And so I had the opportunity to live his experience firsthand. I did not hear, I didn't read it elsewhere. When they, don't forget that at the 1992 elections, the SDF boycotted the elections, and so the CPDM swept all 20 seats in what they call the Northwest, while they had about 13 or 12 in the Southwest, because the NUDP grabbed some seats in what was called the Southwest then. And so in short, there were 35 Southern Cameroonians in a parliament of 180. And these folks brought up the issue. You know, these things came as a result of the tripartite conference that held in 1993, where the Southern Cameroons blocks, where the representatives of the Southern Cameroons asked for a return to the federal system. And the late Joseph Owona said, if, I use the words he used, if Anglophones continue to ask that they should return to the federal system, to the two-state federation, they, the Bulu Ekang Beti, will break off and form a Beti state. That's what it was. And so therefore, in 1995, the matter came to parliament because there was so much noise that Mr. Biya, acting by decree to change the name of the country in the context that is known, was illegal. And so he needed to do what? Normalize it by going to parliament. So a text, a draft law, was sent to parliament in 1995 for parliamentarians to examine and determine whether the name of the country should return to the United Republic of Cameroon or it should remain Republic of Cameroon. This is where the late Honorable Ihims Jacob Anye comes in. When I visited at Hotel des Députés, I could see him because he talked to me. He talked to us. The young people went to him. I could see him going from one room to the other of the parliamentarians from La République du Cameroun, trying to explain to them why they should support a vote for a reversal of the name back from La République du Cameroun to the United Republic of Cameroon. And he explained that if you don't do this, there will be massive trouble tomorrow. Because questions are going to be asked. What happened to Southern Cameroons? Where did the Southern Cameroons disappear to? Where did one of the partners that came into this union go to? Honorable Ihims Jacob Anye, he literally cried from one room to the other. But you can imagine the result, because 35 out of 180 means you have 145 citizens of La République du Cameroon and 35 Southern Cameroonians. So you should know the minds of these people from the point go. The point was, they had to use their numbers to dwarf us because this is not even the normal channel that should have been followed. The same thing that they did with the fake referendum of 1972. And so when the matter came up to a vote, despite the warnings again in plenary from the late Honorable Ihims Jacob Anye and others, I think there was one Honorable Awaso, I can't recall the name very well. He did all his best. But at the vote, of course, all 145 La République du Cameroun parliamentarians voted for the name to remain La République du Cameroun, while all 35 representing the Southern Cameroons voted for the name to be reversed to the United Republic of Cameroon. Of course, you can see. So, folks, this is, I'm going back to this at this particular moment so that you know the context of what you are seeing. The citizens of La République du Cameroon don't ever want to be reminded that they stole a country. No, they don't ever want to be reminded that they stole a country. That's why you see them here. Yaoundé-Paris relations in danger. Oh yeah, the outrage is unimaginable. Because the citizens of La République du Cameroon don't see this as a mistake. They consider that this means the international community has finally convinced France, that was their main backer. Recall the secret document I read here the last time on the stratégie de conservation du pouvoir? They said in that document that they could kill us like flies. They will not bother about the number of deaths because they were assured of French backing, because France will have their backs. So, seeing that TV5 Afrique is literally French owned, they say it means the international community has finally caused France to calm, and France is announcing a message. They see this as a message that finally it means they are going to lose their slaves. That it means they are going to lose the southern Cameroon territory they have annexed for all these years. That finally the international community is beginning to come to terms with the truth. That is why you see here, Cameroon government grills French TV for Ambazonian sleep. Because look at, like I said, in Guinea, it's a non-event. The Guineans are not asking for any explanation from anybody. They're not saying a thing anywhere. In Guinea, it's a non-event. Why is it a non-event? Because they really don't have anything to bother about the flag of the country that was placed before their country. But for La République du Cameroon, it is something else. It is completely something else. Because as a matter of fact, they know what it does. They know the truth. I said it before, that truth is like a lion. All we need to do, release it out there, and it will defend itself. The truth that La République du Cameroon stole a country is out there now. The entire world is talking about it. It could have come at a better moment. That's why you still see the consternation, even from people who pretended yesterday that they were sympathetic to what was going on in Ambazonia, that they were condemning the ongoing genocidal campaign by the Biya regime in the southern Cameroons. This is one of them. All of them. I could see even Valsero. All of them will come up and complain, say Pomba, and say all kinds of things. But you could watch them. You will see the tension in them. History is repeating itself. What happened to the Israelites in Egypt is repeating itself in broad daylight. Because while it was easy for the Israelites to imagine that it was Pharaoh, King Pharaoh and his administration, that was their problem, when it came to let them go, they could see the Egyptians who were now wondering, so we're going to lose our slaves. That's when it could dawn on them that no, it was not just an issue of King Pharaoh, it was an issue of the Egyptians. So it should dawn on the people of the southern Cameroons. It is not an issue of the Biya regime, it's an issue of the citizens of La République du Cameroon in their entirety. This is something you need to bury in your minds. Because that's what you see here. Donc Denise Epoté, directrice de TV5, ne connaît plus le drapeau du Cameroun. En tout cas, 2024 annonce ses couleurs. You hear what she says? That's so Denise Epoté, who is a citizen of La République du Cameroon, married to a Frenchman, of course, and who is the director, literally the CEO of TV5 Afrique Monde. So she doesn't know the flag of Cameroon. And she concludes by saying 2024 is already announcing its colors. Sounds familiar? I have said here that 2024 will be a completely different year when it comes to the liberation of the southern Cameroons, aka Ambazonia. I mentioned in my last broadcast the avalanche of things that have been happening just this January to announce the difference, to announce what is going to happen right ahead. Listen to this young girl citizen of la République du Cameroun, hear what comes out of her mouth.
Frères et sœurs, bonsoir. Nous avons souvent eu à faire des boycotts contre nos frères, pour des raisons diverses. Ici, voici un problème qui est censé nous tenir tous à cœur. TV5. TV5 doit être suspendu au 237. Une erreur, c'est prendre le drapeau d'un pays pour mettre devant un autre pays. Mais ce genre d'erreur, c'est l'alerte. Il y a quelque chose qui est en train de signaler. Ils sont en train...
You hear what she says? She's telling her fellow citizens of la République du Cameroon, folks, what happened on TV5 Afrique Monde is not ordinary. It's not normal. That let us not be naive to think that it's an ordinary mistake. He said it's not ordinary, it's not normal, it's an alert that something serious is being cooked somewhere. That's what she says. That something serious is being cooked somewhere. And so she says,
de confirmer ce que nous pensons tous. Ils sont en train de confirmer qu'ils sont derrière quelque chose.
you hear that? She says this act, this incident confirms what all of them have been thinking about. Of course, they have to be thinking about it, that there will be a day that Southern Cameroons will never be part of their territory. That day is coming when they'll be forced to get out of Southern Cameroons in disgrace, in total humiliation. And she says this incident confirms what they have been thinking, confirms what their fears have been all these years of the outcome of the ongoing liberation struggle.
Alors là, TV5 doit être suspendu. Si tu es d'accord avec moi, partage cette vidéo dans tous les réseaux que tu peux avoir. On doit faire une pétition. TV5 doit être suspendu au 237. Vous ne pouvez pas faire le désordre dans des pays comme ça et vous restez impunis. Non.
So did you hear that? So she says, it is too serious. And she's calling on the citizens of La République du Cameroun to share this her video wherever they can share to alert people that this incident on TV5 Afrique Monde is an alert, is an indication, it's a signal, it's a sign, it's a message of some serious thing that's about to happen, something they had suspected all along, something they had feared all along. And so she even says, if they have to be serious, they should all begin signing a petition to call on the Cameroon government to suspend TV5 Afrique's signals from the territory of La République du Cameroun. Folks, did you see this kind of outrage in the citizens of La République du Cameroun when they burnt pregnant women and little children, school children, alive in Gabou? Did you see this rage? Did you? They are bothered over a flag, over an emblem. Did you see this rage when a gendarme opened fire on Bébé Carol Louis in Boya? Did you see this outrage in La République du Cameroun? Did you see this outrage when Mama Api was burnt alive in her house? Did you see? Did you see this outrage among the citizens of La République du Cameroun when a handicapped fellow, Sam Soya, was cut into gradual pieces and skinned alive on motion television by soldiers of La République du Cameroun wearing their military uniform and speaking in the official French language? Did you see this outrage? I'd like you to answer me. Did you? Did you see this outrage when a soldier opened fire on Bébé Brandi Tato in Bamenda? I mean, a school pupil coming back from school. Did you see this outrage? Or did you see this outrage when a soldier was caught red-handed raping a nursing mother in Bamenda in Kwen? Did you see this outrage from the bloggers or the so-called influencers of La République du Cameroun, from the citizens of La République du Cameroun? It did not exist. It did not. No. You did not see this kind of outrage. No, 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 no. Did you see this kind of outrage when Okada Bilal Bana referred to us humans as dogs? Did you see it? Or when Jacques Zay called us rats, roaches, that needed to be eradicated? Did you? Did you see this outrage when Amugo Bellinger said they needed to declare, a limitless state of emergency until they grind every living soul in the southern Cameroons? Did you see this outrage? No. The instances are too many. Which will I mention? Which will I leave? Did you see this outrage when they went to the University of Buea, went into students' hostels, pulled students out of their rooms, and robbed them in mud? Did you see this outrage? No, you didn't. Because for the citizens of La République du Cameroon, we are slaves. We are subhumans. We are subjugated to them. We are under their footstools, and that is where we should remain. For one moment, a few hours, was it even hours? 90 minutes that the match lasted. 90 minutes plus, I think there were about 9 minutes of stoppage time. 99 minutes, say 100 minutes. Call it 2 hours. Give it to them. For 2 hours only, 2 hours, that La République du Cameroun was represented by the flag of the Southern Cameroons. You can see for yourselves. And if you thought you have already heard, come here.
Avant de prendre la dénonciation proprement dite, nous marquons d'abord un arrêt, comme nous vous l'avons promis en début de ce programme, sur la désormais affaire aussi, TV5 au Cameroun. Je commence par vous, Maître TJC, dans une émission consacrée au sport, c'était mardi dernier, la chaîne de télévision française TV5 a tout simplement attribué un autre drapeau au Cameroun, comme vous l'avez en image. Et pour les nombreux Camerounais et tous ceux qui nous regardent à l'extérieur savent que ce drapeau existe bel et bien, mais c'est un drapeau de ce que l'on appelle au niveau de la sécession, entre guillemets au Cameroun, le drapeau des Ambazoniens. Ceux qui disent qu'ils veulent leur pays au Cameroun, et ils appellent leur pays l'Ambazonie, les zones du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest. Et c'est ce drapeau qui a été choisi par TV5 pour dire que c'est le drapeau du Cameroun. Alors, vous, en tant qu'analyste et Camerounais, comment vous interprétez un tel acte en mondovision? Simple confusion ou alors il faut lire derrière les lignes?
Parfait, ici, voyez-vous, ce pays a souffert. Les pères fondateurs de cette république ont travaillé énergiquement pour que nous soyons ce que nous sommes aujourd'hui. Il n'y a pas d'erreur avec la France. Ils continuent à croire que le Cameroun, c'est la sous-préfecture de la France. Ça, c'est le temps passé. Nous sommes une génération libre. Et TV5 et la France ne peuvent pas se mépriser à ce niveau. Observez un peu sur le terrain.
Bon, je ne sais pas là où vous voyez la France. Hein. Disons simplement que c'est une chaîne basée en France.
C'est une chaîne qui est basée en France. Une chaîne qui a une réputation mondiale reconnue. Nous ne pouvons pas concevoir encore que leur drapeau qu'ils ont mis, ce sont les gens de Facebook.
Now listen, you hear, the man begins by saying, the gentleman responding, this is about 40 minutes, we won't get through all of that. He says that in effect, there is never a mistake when it comes to France. That never take France for granted. Don't you ever take the French for granted. He says never any mistake when it comes to France. And he says the French continue to look at La République du Cameroun as a province in France. Oh, did you hear that? I say he says France continues to consider La République du Cameroun as a province in France where they can do and undo in whatever way they want, and that this must stop. When we say, folks, fellow Southern Cameroonians, my dear brothers and sisters of Amazonia, that we don't even know how we found ourselves with these people who themselves are not even independent. Because what is happening? We are having colonization by proxy. That is France recolonizing us through La République du Cameroon, because La République du Cameroon itself is not independent. You are hearing them say here, I'm not the one saying it. If they can't help themselves, can they help you and I? This is why we have made clear. We need to kick these people out of our territory and assert what is called real sovereignty. Not the mirage that they have, that they call independence. Let's listen to them again. And don't forget, you know why they are crying so loud, say, oh, France is down? The same France that they were counting on, the same France they continue to count on to subjugate us. This is because they are saying that from the moment Mr. Paul Biya panicked because of the presence of Wagner in the Central African Republic, the presence of Wagner in Mali, the presence of Wagner in that's the Russian-led mercenary group in Niger, perhaps in Guinea, and also starting in Burkina Faso. So because they are panicked and went and signed military agreements with Russia, they have the feeling that France is trying to get even with them as a result of that. Listen, folks, I say it here and I repeat. These people have never ever been our brothers and sisters. You hear the way it comes to their country, they say their country is one and indivisible. Yet, they are the very people who send their citizens on airwaves to go and say the people of the Southern Cameroons can never live together. That can never. That is Victor Julius Ngo. But can you say that of La République du Cameroon? If you say that of La République du Cameroon, you will find them rise up in unison, threatening things left and right because they have slaves. Like Ngaringa and Belamoki Chaps and others whom they will use, like the useless fellow calling some mayor of Boya, who will stand and talk about strangers left and right. They say that about them. And you hear what they tell you. They came into our territory, they made the Southern Cameroons one block and divided us into something they call Northwest and Southwest and planned therefore to pit us one against the other for their interest. But when Touch said, they are one and indivisible. No, but Southern Cameroons, no, it's not one and indivisible. It's two and divisible. Listen to them.
Parce que cette fameuse république dont je refuse de prononcer le nom ne va jamais exister tant que nous sommes au Cameroun. L'unité de ce pays n'est pas négociable. Je vous ai dit tout à l'heure que quand je me rase à Barbe le matin, je me vois président de la République.
Did you hear what this lunatic just said? Because he's a lunatic. He says, oh, he doesn't want to mention the name of the so-called country because it's on Facebook that is represented by that flag that want to divide their country, that the unity of Cameroon is sacrosanct, and that this particular entity will never exist. Hear him, eh? This idiot says Ambazonia will never exist. This idiot. Oh yeah, because the Cameroon affairs on his tour. Oh yeah, because they need slaves to ride on. Oh yeah, because they need resources left and right to cut. Oh yeah, because they need us to be calling us Kantua Tombamenda too. Because they need us to use us like the Biya family used Brendalin B and dumped her in jail. That's why they want us. Not because they like us. Not because they think that we are fellow humans. No.
Je voudrais surtout que vous me donniez votre commentaire sur l'acte qui a été posé. Simple confusion ou alors il faut lire derrière les lignes.
Il faut lire derrière les lignes. TV5 n'est pas n'importe qui. Vous vous rappelez la chaîne, l'affaire de Martinez-Ogo? C'est le même TV5 qui est monté au chrono pour pouvoir faire un certain genre de...
So here, the guy dismisses the thesis that it could be an error, it could be a simple mistake completely. He says, don't take TV5 for granted. No, it is not a mistake. Why they are seeing it this way? Some among us say we are trying to create a mountain out of an anthill. I laugh. Anyway, it is not given unto any Tom or every Tom, Dick, or Harry to discern the truth. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the ability to discern it is not given to every Tom, Dick, or Harry. So, that is why those of us who have the opportunity to have that understanding should not hesitate to share and educate others. You, where you are, you know these things. Go out there and educate our people. They need to know.
Le commentaire, tout à l'heure, il faisait allusion aux gens qui sont en prison, présomption d'innocence, et dans le silence, dans l'omerta. Voyez-vous, TV5 est en train de transmettre, c'est le porte-parole d'une diplomatie. TV5 n'est pas n'importe qui, et nous estimons que, dit dans les lignes, TV5 a pris fait et cause pour la situation que nous traversons. Ce sont nos familles qui souffrent. Ils sont à Paris. Quand nous allons commencer à les envoyer le cacao et tout le matières.
So did you hear him? So he says TV5 actually has a hand on this. They are not innocent. He even says TV5 should be very involved and all whatnot with what is happening in the southern Cameroons. That TV5 is representing a certain diplomatic opinion, which is definitely favoring the withdrawal of La République du Cameroon from a territory which is not theirs. You see, when you remind a thief that is a thief, oh my goodness, the reaction is unparalleled. Try to steal from a thief. They will fight until you think that is someone who really has all the abilities and is working very hard to earn their living. No, no. I'd like us to listen to this. I'm afraid I'm taking a bit more time, but please listen to this because they themselves will be telling us in this particular slot clearly that they are not independent. And so when they are not independent, can they help you who are making yourself a black leg? Can they help you who are making yourself an enabler? Can they help you who want to subject yourself to someone that is themselves very helpless? Please, let's extend for 20 more minutes. I'd like you to see and hear this helplessness. Don't imagine it. Let's go.
Ils comprendront qu'il faut nous respecter.
Très bien. Astrid Bissa, en tant que Camerounaise, je présume que vous avez été choquée en voyant cette image à Mondovision.
J'ai été froissée. Et je suis même dépitée. Je vais employer cette expression parce que il me souvient que les journalistes de TV5 Monde ont eu pour certains collègues ou collaborateurs une brillante journaliste, Nadine Patricia Munge, je peux me tromper?
Pour l'instant, c'est...
You see, they are even getting confused. Men like women, not any one of them with a level head to tell them that, look, these things that you are saying, take note. We are on the wrong side of history. But see, they're even confused, mixing pedals, accusing even people who are not even connected. Listen on.
Denise Epoté, qui est d'ailleurs la directrice.
Je parle pas de l'actualité.
Bon, pour Nadine, je ne sais pas si elle était à TV5, mais je sais qu'elle a été dans ce qu'on appelait 3 ateliers sud.
Oui, ok, je peux me tromper, je tiens à m'excuser, mais tout au moins, entre les rapports entre les personnes déjà, nous devons avoir ce respect.
Mais en ce moment, c'est une Camerounaise qui a la tête de TV5, Denise Epoté.
Voilà. Elle a pris fait cause.
Voilà.
Une Camerounaise étant donc à la tête de cette chaîne qui est connue de tous, il me souvient, je pense qu'il y a quand même des limites. Je dirais que cette histoire est faite à dessein. Le drapeau du Cameroun, même si tu le tapes, même sur Google, comme on va rapidement sur Google là, tu saisis Google, même dans nos téléphones, dans nos simples téléphones, au niveau de la rédaction, lorsque tu vas au niveau des drapeaux, je ne me souviens pas de voir le drapeau, je ne sais pas de quel drapeau il s'agit.
Il y a un ami qui m'a posé une question au quartier Québec. Qu'est-ce que le drapeau s'y fait même dans les machines de TV5?
Voilà, en fait, vous trompez de combat, vous tous. C'est ton ami qui t'a... Parce que, qu'est-ce que dans le logiciel de TV5.
So did you hear that? So this lady, she gets confused. She gets, you know, she even goes off rails, but she learns by saying no. She also doesn't think this is an error. She believes that there is some very strong hidden hand somewhere behind this whole thing, and that's why you hear them even asking there because she claims the flag of Cameroon is very well known. That when you go to Google and type Cameroon, you don't see how it's rather a blue and white with a dove and an olive branch in its on its beak that will come out. And now they are asking the question: what on earth is the flag of the Southern Cameroon, the flag of Ambazonia, first of all doing in the database of TV5 Afrique? These are lost souls. They don't understand the extent to which Ambazonia has been internationalized. They don't. They just don't get it. Hear them.
Vient faire ce drapeau pour qu'il y ait confusion après.
C'est là où je voulais en venir quand
En fait, c'est Dieu qui... Ils n'ont même pas fait ça exprès. Mais c'est Dieu qui les a dévoilés. En fait, vous aviez ça.
So do you hear what they are saying? They get back to what we say. They are going to the spiritual dimension. They say, what was the flag of Ambazonia first of all doing in their database? To the point where they end up making a mistake. Instead of putting the flag of La République du Cameroon, they put the flag of Ambazonia. And he says, this is not a mistake, that it is not by chance, that it is the hand of God. Oh, when I said it was the hand of God, somebody said, mountain out of anthill. He said it is the hand of God that has revealed it, that they have that flag there, meaning they had kept it to use it at an opportune moment, and God has just decided to reveal now. No, sorry, sir. This is the opportune moment. This is the opportune moment. And if you people don't know, this flag is in all the big media houses in the world. All the most powerful media houses in the world have the Ambazonian flag in their database. Hello? Hello? Am I talking? I say all the powerful Western media houses in the world have the Ambazonia flag in their database, and the time has come for them to start using it. Dreamers of La République du Cameroon and your so-called Black Leg Kingdom and enablers, start getting used to it. I'm not the one that said it. Dieudonné Essomba had told you guys, we have to start envisaging the possibility of a future Cameroon without Anglophones in it. And this was since November 18, 2021. 3 years down the line, it should be making sense to you that things are evolving. I'm not the one saying it. Dieudonné Essomba had warned you guys. And if you think that is not a mistake at the level of TV5 and you see the spiritual dimension, God is telling you the time has come and I have ruled.
Ils attendaient le jour où l'Ambazonie allait prendre le Cameroun pour mettre directement ça. Mais c'est sorti au mauvais moment. Voilà.
C'est une affaire diplomatique, moi je vais le dire comme ça, s'il faut le prendre sur le sens, sur le sens juridique. C'est une affaire diplomatique entre États, c'est-à-dire c'est le droit international privé. S'il faut aller même, et puis c'est normal.
You see, they even bring people who don't even know what they are talking. She doesn't even know. So empty. But all she has inside her is the hatred, the disdain that over the years they have built for Southern Cameroonians. And she even say the droit privé international. How does a matter of a state with another state become part of private international law? Like, seriously? No, nothing. No water in the heads there. Nothing. But one thing she knows at least is that it's diplomatic. This is frightening them because they are telling themselves that much as they thought that they had squeezed Southern Cameroonians, that they had used a gang of noisemakers responding to the call from Ali Bongo, make some noise called Black Leg Kingdom, and they have been making some cacophony in the air. They had dwarfed our diplomatic efforts. It's dawning on them now that it would appear we have been on the ground and working so seriously, and now they can see the fruits of our diplomatic efforts, and they are shocked. They are in total consternation. They are shaken down in their marrows, and they are now in total panic mode because they know that what they had fought to avoid all this time is coming to pass.
Public, pardon. S'il faille même qu'on aille sur le plan de la juridiction, normalement, il est tout à fait normal que le Cameroun se soit indigné. C'est une grosse injure. Maintenant, en tant que Camerounaise, je dirais tout simplement que c'est une grosse injure à notre endroit. Et puis, c'est très malheureux encore que ce soit une Camerounaise qui soit à la tête de ce média et qu'on puisse avoir une telle grossièreté. C'est injurieux.
Il faut dire que Denise Potter, qui était justement à la tête de cette chaîne de télévision, a été convoquée par l'ambassadeur du Cameroun en France, son Excellence André Manius Ekoumou, parce que l'ambassadeur voulait bien comprendre ce que veut dire un tel acte à Mondo Vision. Denise Potter n'a pas eu autre mot que de présenter ses excuses. Pierre Blériot-Niemek, hier, dans le...
That's the outrage got right to the point where the Cameroon ambassador in France, in Paris, had to summon Denise Epote, the CEO of TV5 Afrique Monde, and he says all she could do was say, I'm sorry. There was nothing about it, nothing on it. But what he's trying to say is that Denise Epote could just be a figurehead, and this thing that happened wouldn't happen without her knowledge. That's why she had nothing to say but to say, I'm sorry.
Cadre de ce programme, nous nous insurgions déjà de ce fait et je pense que je faisais comprendre que voilà des vrais problèmes où le Conseil national de la communication du Cameroun devrait sortir pour s'insurger. Pourquoi le ministre de la communication ne dit rien? Eh bien, autour des 17h, les deux instances ont fait une sortie. Donc, c'est bien, bravo. Allez de l'avant. Ne restez pas seulement là à regarder Info TV. Parce que Info TV n'a jamais insulté le Cameroun. Voilà des chaînes de télévision qui insultent le Cameroun et le CNC est resté muet. Maintenant, le CNC n'est donc plus resté muet. Il est sorti, y compris le MINCOM. Je vous passe la parole, le Pierre Blériot-Niemek. Comment vous interprétez un tel acte?
Bon, il faut savoir se faire respecter. Et moi, je vais aller au-delà des émotions. Nous ne sommes pas préparés à nous faire respecter.
So, you get the first word. This is somebody who is beginning to reason straight. I'm not saying he's different from others, but he's beginning to reason straight. He says the Republic of Cameroon has never prepared itself to be respected out of their territory. And he will tell you why. Why? Why is la République du Cameroun non respectée?
C'est vrai. Vous voyez, quelqu'un venait de dire, quand on ne va plus envoyer notre cacao, non, on va envoyer. On va faire quoi avec le cacao? On va envoyer. On va envoyer. On va rien faire avec. Vous comprenez ce que je veux dire? Or, si on était capable de le transformer, on ne l'enverrait pas.
You hear what they're saying? They are helpless. He says, because the first fellow that said that Ambazonia will be independent over his dead body. Because he said it will never be there, will be over his dead body. He said, by the way, that France, there are people who are in France, soon they will decide that they will no longer send their cocoa to France. They will no longer send their whatever to France. But this fellow is reminding him here, you have no choice but to send that cocoa to France. You have no choice to send it there. Because you can't do anything with it. You don't say they will get rotten here. You can't help yourself. You can't transform. You cannot do anything for yourself. Bunch of dependents who contaminated us with the spirit of dependency from 1961 to this day. I said they are helpless. Let him finish.
Regardez la situation du Cameroun. Nous parlons de TV5. Mais vous savez qui tient tout ce que nous avons comme satellite?
Ouais.
Si nous nous fâchons trop contre la France, vous savez ce qui peut nous arriver aussi.
Et suis ton regard.
Suivez mon regard. Voilà donc un peuple qui ne s'est pas préparé.
Did you hear him? He is just being realistic. You know why TV5 Afrique even respond in a very disdainful manner? Because you hear them screaming, oh, is that all TV5 Afrique will come and say? You heard one other stupid one here, Steve Farr, even came and said that, oh, they needed to call that the French president, Emmanuel Macron, needed to come and stand and present apologies to the government of Cameroon, Emmanuel Macron himself, or the French ambassador in Yaoundé should even take the fight himself. They simply looked at them as noisemakers And the reason is simple. They are not independent. They own nothing. You hear the fellow reminding them that even the satellites that they are broadcasting on are run by the French. They run nothing. Like people in Cameroon owns nothing. Is it energy? Energy is run by foreign entities. A foreign country can decide this morning that there will be no lights in La Republic of Cameroon for 3 months and there will not be. Is it water? A foreign entity can decide that Cameroonians will not have potable drinking water everywhere. They will not have. Is it only that? Everything. What country are they calling there? A useless entity that has impaired our development for 60 years and counting. And they think that we even have to be proud of being part of being part of them. They are a failure. They are a failure. Thank God they are recognizing. Hear him again.
Nous avons seulement des problèmes de carburant quand les bateaux ne voyagent pas bien. Je souhaite que ceux qui vont prendre le Cameroun après Paul Biya essaient de mettre le Cameroun sur la voie de l'indépendance. La vraie indépendance.
Did you hear that? He says he is wishing that whoever will take power after Paul Biya should work towards ensuring that Cameroon, La République du Cameroun, should get real independence. My dear people of Amazonia, did you hear them? When I say it here, you say that I'm making an overstatement. La République du Cameroun is not independent. How do we find ourselves aligning ourselves with an entity that is not independent, that cannot even manage its own affairs, that cannot appoint its own officials independently, that cannot float its own satellite, that cannot manage its own power grid, that cannot manage its own water sources or its own water supply, that cannot manage anything about itself? Do you know why calls from any other country to La République du Cameroun or from La République du Cameroun to any other country are extremely expensive? It's simple. If you are doubting, you are in the United States of America, in Canada or wherever, or in Egypt, take your phone, try to call someone in Nigeria and look at how much you will spend for doing that. I mean, call somebody in Nigeria, direct line, see how much you will spend. Then when you drop, try to call someone in Cameroon, direct line, the same telephone company, and see that it multiplies by at least 10. I say the cost multiplies by at least 10. Why? Because when you call, even if you are calling from Gabon, I mean, even if you are standing in Gabon and calling someone in Libreville, calling someone in Yaoundé, when you dial, the signal will leave Libreville, go to Paris first, pay taxes there before leaving Paris to go back to Yaoundé. Did you understand me? Maybe I'm not making sense. If you are standing in Lagos, in Nigeria, you are trying to call somebody in Bamenda because that their useless system is over our land. You dial to call that person. The signal will first go to Paris. That's from Lagos to Paris. Pay taxes there. And then before going from Paris to Yaoundé, more taxes paid. So the traffic from Lagos into Paris, you pay taxes for that call getting to Paris. And then leaving Paris now to Yaoundé, you pay taxes for that call leaving Paris to Yaoundé. That is why La République du Cameroun is not independent. That's what they are saying. That's what the gentleman is saying. That those who will take over from Paul Biya should earnestly start fighting for the real independence of La République du Cameroun. So those who are trying to force us into La République du Cameroun, open your ears and hear what disaster you are struggling to perpetrate us under. Is Dr. Munzu hearing this? Oh, my brother, Comrade Bala Agbo, are you hearing this? I'm not the one saying it. These are citizens of La République du Cameroun, media men of La République du Cameroun.
Parce que pour lever le ton, même quand je parle là, j'ai peur que la France se fâche. C'est ça le problème. C'est eux qui peuvent nous faire du mal. Apprenons à nous faire respecter des autres. Si le drapeau, ce fameux drapeau s'est retrouvé dans les machines, dans les logiciels de TV5, cela était déjà malicieux. Ça indique déjà la... Donc, on aurait compris que TV5 fasse une confusion entre le drapeau du Cameroun et celui du Sénégal. C'est-à-dire un pays qui existe.
Can you hear that? Here now where the real problem is. They would have tolerated it. If TV5 Afrique made a mistake on the flag of Cameroun, I rather put by that of Senegal. Yes, they will not bother. Put even by the flag of Nigeria. Yes, no problem. Put even by the flag of whatever country. But the flag of Amazonia, hey, wait, that becomes extremely beautiful. Let me now exclaim in meta. That becomes extremely beautiful. Because as a matter of fact, that is sacrilege. As a matter of fact, they are not in pains simply because of that error. They are in pains because the truth has been spoken. They are in pains because the whole world now knows what they have been struggling to hide. They are in pains because it is dawning on them that what they had been swearing cannot happen is about to happen. Folks, let me give them 30 more seconds and kick them out.
C'est dessus. On aurait dit que voilà un pays qui est à la Coupe du Monde là-bas, à la Coupe d'Afrique, et puis bon, la manipulation. D'ailleurs, si on nous avait confondu avec le Sénégal qui nous a battus, combien là? 3 ans. Bon, nous n'aurions pas, quand même, nous n'aurions pas été si fâchés que ça. Mais pourquoi venir nous confondre avec des gens qui disent qu'ils vont détruire le pays? Pourquoi c'est...
Alors, that why bring the people who say they want to destroy their country? No, we're not trying to destroy your country. We're trying to take back our country. In fact, we are taking back our country. Did you hear that? Let me let them go. We are taking back our country. So, folks, I want to thank everyone who's been here. This has really been a marathon. We've been on about 1 hour, 27 minutes. This has really been a marathon. I really sincerely want to thank all of those who have been part of this broadcast. I mean, I'm not taking it for granted that you find time to sit like this, to watch this all the way to the end. But as you get off this broadcast, share the link and share and share and share. Let our people be edified. It's important that our people be edified. And I'm sorry that I had to start pretty late, starting at at 9 p.m. And then now we're getting to about getting to 10:30 p.m. Amber time. Yeah, 10:30 p.m. That is 10:30 p.m. Bamenda, Boya, 10:30 p.m. in Mamfe, 10:30 p.m. in Tenaco, 10:30 p.m. in Ebeko, 10:30 p.m. in Guzang. So, folks, thank you very much. And if you are in Ekona Lelu, I'm sure people say, wow, I was talking about Ekona Lelu, the Ekona behind the mountain. I had a nice time to be up there in Ekona Lelu, up the mountain there. We went to do rainwater harvesting. I had a lot of fun with the people up there in Ekona Lelu. Of course, I've not forgotten the people of Bafia, people of Abia. I went round with them, round Mount Fako, came out and Eden. Now it was such a beautiful scene. Trust me, such a beautiful scene to see. So thank you, folks. And so do have a nice time until we are back here, probably on Sunday, with another dose of, information to share. But most especially, don't forget to pray for and stand by the front of Bafut, who is facing some serious issues right now with the colonizer. To God be all the glory.